This is not just a reading. It is a contract check for those standing on the edge of a choice they can't unmake. What you're about to hear is for the collective, for the ones who've been merging bodies, energies, timelines, and prayers, and now realize something deeper is asking to be acknowledged. What are you really calling love? What are you really binding yourself to? And what will that cost? Let's begin where that all starts. Not in the stars, not in the scripture, but in the body. Monogamous sex is not just intimacy. It's neurochemical reprogramming, spiritual merging, and energetic bonding that goes far beyond orgasm. It trains the body to regulate around someone. It conditions the nervous system to need their presence. It hardwires your reward loops, your boundaries, your blind spots. And spiritually, it either expands you or starts leaking your power one orgasm at a time. Sex is covenant, even if nobody speaks it out loud. And when it's not aligned, your soul feels the difference. Let's brutally break this down. No fluff. The biological and chemical impact. Hormonal conditioning, we'll start there first. You have oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and vasopressin, increase. These are designed to create an emotional attachment, trust, and a monogamous bonding. Your brain starts to associate that person with safety and satisfaction, whether or not they're actually good for you. Dopamine hits from pleasure, anticipation, and orgasm creates reinforced neural loops. This can mimic addiction. Prolactin is released after orgasm, especially in men, which creates a temporary satisfaction pause. It can also dull attraction to others over time if consistently linked to one person. There's an estrogen-testosterone balance shift, often syncing libido and emotional rhythms with your partner, especially if the cycles or energy fields overlap. You can become co-regulated with them, meaning their presence, smell, voice, and touch calm or trigger your nervous system, depending on how secure or unsafe they are. The psychological effects are wild. You end up getting deep emotional imprinting. Your subconscious links them to pleasure, safety, and release. If they later betray you, it causes internal confusion. Your body still craves them, even while your mind may resent them. Repeated sex can mask red flags because oxytocin dulls fear and makes you want to forgive and reconnect quickly. If you are already having avoidant, anxious, or insecure attachment style, sex can amplify your default trauma pattern with them. If they are emotionally unavailable, you might stay hoping sex means more is coming, even if it never does. During sex is an aura merging. Regular sex means aura entanglement. Their energetic field leaves an imprint on you, especially if they are wounded, unhealed, or spiritually chaotic. You can start carrying their emotions, desires, and mood swings unconsciously. The root and sacral chakras sync. This affects your grounding, survival instincts, and emotional flow. If there's spiritual alignment, it can elevate your intuition and creativity. But if there's misalignment, it can drain you, cause spiritual confusion, or stagnate your growth. Monogamous sex does have behavioral consequences. It does reduce the desire for others. Your body may stop noticing others in the same way. You become psychosexually tuned to this person, even if they're not treating you right. It could possibly lower your standards if not careful. You may confuse physical consistency with emotional depth. You might tolerate things you wouldn't if sex wasn't involved. Codependence becomes a risk. If sex becomes your main source of connection, regulation, or validation, it can slowly erode self-trust and independence, especially if your deeper needs aren't being met outside the bedroom. If you are spiritually inclined, every climax is an energetic exchange. If they are not sacred with your body, they can leave spiritual residue, a heaviness, a fog, or even repeating dreams or compulsions tied to them. Consistent sex with someone who isn't evolving with you can feel like soul contraction over time, even if the sex feels good physically. The bottom line is this: consistent sex with one person can build safety, deepen intimacy, and regulate your system, but it can also create false security, bond you to emotional chaos, dull your intuition, and entrench karmic patterns if the relationship isn't grounded in truth, growth, and emotionally reciprocated. Which is why the ancient text that most people think is about love, Song of Solomon, is actually a coded map for what sacred union, timing, testing, and rebirth really look like. The scripture today is going to be Song of Solomon, chapters 3 through 5. By night I sought him, who my soul loveth. This isn't about dating. This is about spiritual recognition. It begins with longing, moves into surrender, becomes full body union, and then is tested. By chapter 5, the door doesn't open fast enough and the beloved is gone. This is the pattern. Desire leads to pursuit. Union leads to invitation. Testing leads to timing. Delay ends to disconnection. And memory leads to realization. Song of Solomon teaches that sacred sex either creates divine fusion or exposes emotional hesitation. It confirms that what you do with your body is a mirror of what you're willing to surrender in spirits. Song of Solomon is not just romantic poetry. It's a coded manual for erotic love, emotional longing, spiritual desire. In initiation into union, not just between two lovers, but between soul and source. It's Hebrew mysticism disguised as a love story. Chapter 3 through 5 represents the middle stage of the journey. Desire becomes pursuit. Pursuit becomes union. Union becomes testing. Chapter 3 is night longing and initiation into search. By night on my bed I sought him whom my soul loveth. This is a spiritual insomnia. She's restless because her soul is craving alignment. Laying in the bed represents complacency. She realizes she must get up and seek. This is not passive waiting. She takes initiative, walks the city, seeks him, which breaks traditional gender norms of waiting to be chosen. The street guards represent systems of control, religious, societal norms that can't help her find divine union. She finds him only after she lets go of external help and keeps searching anyway. This chapter is the soul learning to move beyond religious dogma and cultural norms to pursue its divine counterpart. She's becoming the seeker. Who is this coming up from the wilderness like pillars of smoke? This is Solomon's arrival, but described as a ceremonial, ritualistic process. Pillars of smoke equals incense, temple worship. This is a high priest being presented, not just a king. The imagery is lavish: gold, silver, 60 warriors. This isn't about wealth. It's about power, masculinity, and divine protection surrounding union. The masculine energy arrives fully adorned, ready for a sacred covenant. This is the divine masculinity shown as warrior plus protector plus priest. In chapter 4, we get the full union: physical, spiritual, emotional. Behold, you are beautiful, my love. He praises her piece by piece: hair, teeth, lips, neck, breasts. This is ritual adoration. He's naming and honoring her body, the way a priest would honor a temple. You are altogether beautiful, my love. There is no flaw in you. This is divine absolution. He's not just seeing her physically, but spiritually whole. True intimacy sees the full sacredness of the other body and soul. This is Eden restored, naked and unashamed. Come with me from Lebanon, my bride. He calls her out of the mountains, symbolizing elevation and separation. Lebanon, lions, leper equals danger plus independence. He's calling her from survival to surrender. You have ravaged my heart with one glance of your eyes. Equal, she has power. This isn't just submission, it's mutual captivation. Her body is described as a sealed garden. Only he is allowed in. A garden locked is my sister, my bride, a spring locked, a fountain sealed. This is not just virginity. This is sacred sexual sovereignty. The garden fountain language is a straight-up yawning symbolism. It is fertile, powerful, and spiritually guarded. Awake, O north wind. Let my beloved come into his garden and eat its choicest fruits. She welcomes him in. This is sacred consent. Eat the fruit equals literal sexual invitation, but also spiritual initiatory acts. The merging of divine masculine and feminine. This is not porn. This is sacred tantric union. They are activating each other's spiritual gifts through pleasure. In Chapter 5, we are met with absence, delay, and testing of union. I slept, but my heart was awake. She's in a liminal space, half asleep, half aware. He comes knocking, but she hesitates. By the time she gets up, he's gone. Brutal truth? This is what happens when you delay obedience to divine timing. You miss the moment. He was ready. She wasn't. She makes excuses. I've already paid, but eventually opens the door. His scent lingers, but he disappeared. She searches again, but this time the watchmen beat her. They struck me, they wounded me. Delay breeds regrets. The soul that once burned for union now experiences suffering, loss, and shame. This isn't punishment. It's part of the spiritual refinement process. Her friends ask, "Why do you love him so much?" She responds with a line-by-line praise of him, of his form. Gold, ivory, sapphire, marble, perfume, majesty. This is declaration. She is saying, even when he disappears, I will not forget his essence. This is the dark night of the soul. Love was felt, tasted, and then delayed. She's now in pursuit again, wounded, but devoted. Love requires movement. You can't stay passive and expect transformation. Erotic longing is a spiritual tool. It pulls you into deeper surrender and self-discovery. Sacred sex is soul merging. Not everyone deserves access to your garden. There will be delays, detours, and wounds even after union. How you respond reveals your devotion. True masculine energy pursues, protects, and praises with reverence. True feminine energy guards her value, opens with discernment, and loves without shame. So, what does this mean? Monogamous sex isn't casual. It's neurological reinforcement. The oxytocin creates emotional dependence. You begin to associate that person with safety, love, and regulation, regardless of whether a relationship is actually safe. Dopamine. Every sexual experience becomes a behavioral reward, locking the person into your pleasure response system. The prolactin that releases post-orgasm. It blunts sexual interest in others and increases feelings of contentment with this specific partner. Vasopressin increases territory and loyalty, particularly in men, triggers protection and possessiveness toward the person you're having sex with. Monogamous sex hardwires this person into your nervous system, reward center, and attachment structure. Monogamous sex trains your perception. You begin to excuse red flags because the emotional bond overrides logic. You build identity fusion. We replaces I. Conflicts becomes more destabilizing because the partner has become your regulation tool, not just your lover. Monogamous sex creates dependency loops. Whether healthy or toxic depends on the emotional maturity of both people. Sex isn't just physical, it's energetic transaction. Your auric field merges. Their trauma, insecurities, and intentions mixed with yours. The chakras align, especially the root, sacral, and the heart. This impacts your sense of stability, creativity, pleasure, and emotional openness. If they are chaotic, you become spiritually disoriented. If they are grounded, you amplify in clarity. Monogamous sex imprints their energy into your field. Even after the body separates, the energetic residues remains unless cleared. Chapter 3, the search for union. By night on my bed I sought him whom my soul loveth. Desire is no longer sexual, it's spiritual. The soul gets restless, leaves comfort, and actively seeks connection. The watchmen equal external systems, religion, tradition, rules that cannot deliver what the soul truly seeks. Union is found only when the soul pushes past fear and being passive. This is the initiation phase. Desires pushes the seeker into movement. Sex in this stage becomes a summons, not an indulgence. Chapter 4. Behold, you are beautiful, my love. A garden locked is my sister, my bride. The woman is adored in detail, from eyes to lips to breasts. This is not lust. This is ritualized reverence. Her body is described as a sealed garden, implying sacredness, boundaries, and intentional access. She eventually invites him in. Let my beloved come into his garden and eat his choicest fruit. This is not random sex. This is soul-acknowledged sex. Consent is sacred. The lover is not entitled. He is invited. The act of sex here is spiritual activation, not conquest. This chapter defines the sacred framework for monogamous sex. Recognition, reverence, consent, merging. In chapter 5, the testing in the absence begins. I slept, but my heart was awake. I heard my beloved knocking. There is hesitation, delay, mistiming. When she finally opens the door, he is gone. The soul goes into mourning. She searches again, wounded and exposed. She declares his virtues to the others in his absence. After union comes the testing. Monogamous sex can create emotional complacency, false security, or delayed action. This chapter warns delayed vulnerability and hesitation can disrupt divine timing. It also shows true union isn't based on availability alone. It's proven through remembrance during absence. So what do these chapters teach about monogamous sex? Sexual desire should evolve into spiritual searching. Real monogamous sex should come with recognition and consent, not possession. Pleasure is a portal, not a distraction. Sex is spiritual technology. Monogamy gets challenged, not through lust, but through timing, vulnerability, and wounds. Monogamous sex is not soft or sentimental. It's neurochemical wiring, emotional conditioning, and spiritual entanglement. Song of Solomon doesn't glorify random sex. It outlines what happens when sex is entered with reverence and consequence. You pursue, you adore, you merge, you are tested. You either anchor or drift. Monogamous sex is a covenant. When it becomes a sanctuary or a soul tie, it really depends on how consciously it's entered and what happens after the pleasure fades. And the same theme of sacred timing and ancestral accountability echoed through the first card that came through, the grandchildren card from the Hoodoo Tarot. This card is a clear signal. Your decisions are not just yours. They are echoes across bloodlines, forward and backward. Every soul tie, every almost. Every person you keep returning to when your spirit already closed the door. This card reminds you, you're not just having sex. You're writing a spiritual code. You're either passing down confusion or anchoring clarity. The grandchildren card is a summons. Will your lineage rest because of your choice or inherit your patterns? This card means hope, spiritual protection, ancestral alignment, cosmic reassurance. This card is your divine confirmation that you are being watched, protected, and guided by those who came before and those who will come after. It is a lineage card. Everything you do now, especially in love and sex and sacred partnership, is part of your ancestral continuum. Let's break down the symbolism. The child in the image is not alone. They are surrounded by the spirits of their ancestors. The starry sky represents divine timing, hope, and alignment with the heavens. Water and earth appear together. This is emotional grounding and spiritual flow. We're not just talking about monogamous sex or sacred love. We are reclaiming what was distorted in your lineage and healing ancestral trauma around abandonment, misused sexual power, unacknowledged unions, children born without covenant, sacred bonds desecrated by culture, war, colonization, and shame. This card means you're repairing the soul DNA of your bloodline. What you choose sexually, emotionally, and spiritually affects generations. This card mirrors Songs of Solomon, chapter 4 and 5. Chapter 4, you are choosing to engage your body as a garden, not a battlefield. In chapter 5, you are learning timing, discipline, and discernment through absence and longing. The grandchildren card says, your choices in sacred union are prophetic. You are not just healing yourself, you are positioning your descendants to inherit clarity, love, and alignment rather than karmic confusion. This card is saying you are the hinge in your family tree. This card is a cosmic warning and a cosmic promise. If you choose union from fear, wounds, or habits, you will recycle ancestral pain. But if you choose union from alignment, clarity, and sacred wholeness, you become the portal of healing for 7 generations forward and back. Your sex life is not private. It is ancestral technology. In the midst of all that depth, Spirit gave us a surprisingly simple reflection. Through a song you might have brushed off as light, but it's a spiritual weapon in this context. Today's song of the day, it's Smile, Living My Best Life by Lil Duval. I'm living my best life, and I ain't going back and forth with you. At surface level, it sounds like a flex, but underneath, it's a post-initiation chant. It is what it sounds like when you come through the dark night of soul, survive the soul tie, pass the test, and now you're choosing joy on purpose. This isn't a performance. It's a declaration of spiritual boundaries. It says, I don't spiral for nostalgia anymore. I don't confuse access with intimacy. Smile. It's what alignment sounds like when you've been through the fire and refuse to crawl back into it. Let's break this down brutally, honestly, and spiritually. We're gonna use the song Smile by Lil Duval featuring Snoop Dogg and Ball Greasy in full connection with the Grandchildren card, Song of Solomon's 3-5, and the neuroscience plus spiritual impact of consistent monogamous sex. Surface level, I'm living my best life. I ain't going back and forth with you. It's a feel-good anthem about choosing joy, peace, and self-validation. It celebrates emotional detachment from negativity, especially from cycles that used to pull you in. But underneath, it's way, way more than just flexing. In this wisdom drop, this song is a post-initiation. After the search in Song of Solomon chapter 3, after the union in chapter 4, and after the testing and absence in chapter 5. This song would be the energetic posture of someone who survived the test, who came back to self after merging, losing, or learning. You got a lot to be smiling for. So what the fuck you be wildin' for? This is reclaiming internal joy, even if the external didn't last. It's the energy of, I merged with someone, I learned what I needed, I'm not going back to bondage. I'm no longer giving access to what costs my peace. This reflects the Grandchildren card too. Hope, future, legacy, ancestral protection. You smile not because everything is perfect, but because you know who you are now. This is a spiritual evolution through sex, love, and letting go. I'm living my best life becomes an affirmation after emotional detachment from sexual or romantic dynamics that once dominated the psyche. From a monogamous sex lens, you got imprinted, attached, and maybe lost yourself in someone. But now you're reclaiming your autonomy, you're filled in your vibration. Post-union, you can either smile or spiral. This song chooses the smile. This is not emotional numbness. This is neurological reprogramming. New dopamine pathways, seeking pleasures in life, not just one person. You get an oxytocin detox. Bond is broken, peace returns. Proclamation becomes a healing mechanism. I ain't going back and forth with you. That line is an energetic boundary setting. It says, the tie may have been deep, but I choose to end the loop. This song will be the soundtrack to an ancestor smiling down saying, you finally learned the damn lesson. You're not stuck in old cycles. You're protecting your future. This is how someone carries divine favor after going through soul mirroring experiences and coming out wiser, cleaner, and more whole. You're no longer performing survival. You're living legacy. So, chapter 3, you were restless, looking for love. And in chapter 4, you opened, you merged, you tasted sacred union. Chapter 5, you delayed, you suffered, you remembered. Now, you return to self. You smile, you choose peace. This is the evolution of sacred erotic experience, when it teaches you to prioritize divine alignment over fleshly obsession. The song is not shallow. It is a post-initiation victory chant. It plays when you merged and separated with someone and realize you still have yourself. You've been tested and you're choosing not to spiral. You're healing generational patterns by choosing joy over struggle. Smile is an act of rebellion, not a mask, but a confirmation that you're now living by vibration and not validation. And this energy didn't come out of nowhere. It is rooted in the spiritual weather of May 1st, 2025. Let's look at the astrology behind this entire wisdom drop. Today is May 1st, 2025. This is a day ruled by the magician, the one who knows what to do with power. The skies are pressure coding your timeline. Pluto retrogrades in Aquarius on May 4th. Who are you without your patterns? Venus squares Saturn. If it's not rooted, it breaks. Mars trines Neptune. You are either acting on divine instruction or illusion. We got the Taurus sun and the Virgo moon. Your body and your spirit are both screaming the truth, but are you listening? This is a window of consequence, one where what you affirm becomes real, and what you ignore becomes regret. And spirit didn't stop there. Two goddesses came forward with a direct confirmation: radical rebirth and manifestation, each carrying a message you can't afford to overlook. Mabuya Nahanda, it's radical rebirth, from my African Goddess Rising card. This card means you've already died. This is your return. But resurrection demands you stop entertaining ghosts. Stop inviting expired energy into your room, your home, and your prayers. The next card was Mojaji, and that's manifestations. This is the moment where everything you say is a spell. You are no longer allowed to say, I'm confused. Every word, every decision, every thought is either opening a gate or sealing your own sabotage. Together, these goddesses confirm you are either reclaiming your divine blueprint or reanimating your karmic wounds. So, today is May 1st, and it's ruled by the Magician, which is a Mercury archetype. The Magician equals conscious creation, willpower, mental alchemy, and initiation. This is a day about reclaiming agency, calling your power back from every soul tie, trauma bond, and energy link. The key transits: Pluto Retrograde in Aquarius. Your collective identity is being purged. What you thought was you is dying. Ego, illusions, false relationships burn at the roots. Venus is squaring Saturn. Old love patterns feel tight. Delayed gratification. Testing loyalty. You'll feel the pressure to let go of a connection or elevate how you love. Mars trines Neptune. Action guided by spirit. This is warrior priestess energy. Use this to cut energetic cords, protect your dreams, or fight for your future vision. Sun in Taurus, Moon in Virgo trine. Your physical body and intuitive body are in sync. Your rituals, sex, food, words, and movement either heal or fragment. There's not going to be any in between. This is the day of spiritual triage. So, when you combine that with the grandchildren from the Hoodoo Tarot, which represents the star in regular tarot decks, you are being seen by your ancestor and descendants simultaneously. Your sexual choices, your unions, your boundaries, they all ripple 7 generations. This card demands sacred accountability. Every soul tie is a bloodline agreement. Every boundary is a prayer for your grandchildren. Mabuya Nahanda, this is the Phoenix card. You died before. You lived a cycle that nearly took you under. This card means no more shape-shifting to survive. No more calling bondage loyalty. You passed through energetic fragmentation, codependent loops, soul suppression disguised as love. This card demands you to stop performing your past. It's time to embody your return. Majaji, manifestations, means you are no longer wishing. You are summoning. This card confirms what you say now, what you do now, and what you withhold now can be spoken into existence. Pulling this card with the Magician Day equals amplified authority. I'm living my best life. I ain't going back and forth with you. This is your ritual chant today. It's not a flex. It's a fact. You are rewriting neural loops, rebirthing soul contracts, severing spiritual confusion masquerading as love, refusing to revisit timelines that require your suffering. This is post-rebirth joy, not delusional, not avoiding, but the kind of joy that comes after surviving psychic death. You are standing at the edge of a new covenant with yourself. You've seen the loop, fused with someone through sex or intimacy, been tested, been cracked open, and now you remember your name. Now, the grandchildren card says, choose with legacy in mind. Mebuya Nahanda says, stop trying to resurrect what your soul outgrew. Majaji says, this moment is quantum. Your words shape your next 10 years. The Magician says, you have every tool already. Stop begging for what you already carry. Today's transit says, end it clean or rise distorted. I do not owe access to anyone I had to heal from. My body is no longer a trauma site. It's a temple and a portal. What I refuse to cut will rot the fruit I was born to bear. My peace is not a reward, it is a frequency. I protect it like breath. I don't flirt with the past. I romance my future. Which leads to the final revelation. The actual choice being made now. There are two paths, and this is the window that forced this decision. Path 1 is alignment. You walk in truth. You release cycles. You hold your standard. Path 2 is the loop. You explain confusion. You flirt with old versions. You keep spiraling and call it growth. The window is now until May 16th. After that, the timeline locks in. No more negotiating with spirit for clarity. Only living with the contract you agreed to through your choices. This is not about punishment, it's about consequence. You've already been choosing. The message is just here to make sure you're honest about it. It's not a reckoning today. Well, actually it is, but it's not a reset. You are standing at the intersection of revelation and response. Every part of your body, your memory, your orgasm, your prayer, your playlists, and your choices are being watched by the ancestors who came before and the descendants who will come after. Are you on path 1, the alignment? If you are, you've been consciously crafting your reality and not reacting to it. This isn't a new love. This is divine recognition finally grounded in the physical plane. The Magician rules alignment, mastery, and manifestation. Today is the kind of day where a spiritual contract becomes real. Pluto retrogrades in Aquarius. You and this partner aren't just falling in love. You're dismantling old collective templates around love. This is power and vulnerability integrated. Venus square Saturn. Yes, the connection has been tested, but what survived was meant to be fortified, not destroyed. This is the energy of earned trust, where boundaries become bridges. Mars trines Neptune today as well. You are guided by vision, not fantasy. Sex is not escapism, it's spiritual fusion. You are in line in both spiritual assignment and sacred pleasure. In chapter 3, the search ends. It was a little that I passed from them, but I found him whom my soul loveth. Songs of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 4. This isn't a new feeling. You sought this soul across timelines. You didn't just find a lover, you found the one who matched your frequency in this life. And chapter 4 becomes a sacred invitation. A garden enclosed is my sister and my spouse. Let my beloved come into his garden. Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verses 12 through 16. The body was never a playground. It was a consecrated altar. You both walked in fully aware this union is a portal. The words you speak now co-create timelines. The sex you share now activates destiny. The silence you sit in together is an offering. You didn't give your body, you gave your temple, and they worshiped, not consumed. Chapter 5, your spiritual testing, and you passed. My beloved put in his hands by the hole of the door, and my bowers were moved for him. Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 4. You open the door, no delay, no fear, no running. You were ready, and so were they. Even in absence, there was no rupture, only reverence. This isn't a love of urgency, it's a love that moves with God's breath. The cards confirmed it. The grandchildren. This isn't just your union. It's their healing. Your great-grandmother's ache, your father's silence, your mother's mistiming. It's all being healed by how you love now. This love is a gift to the bloodline. Mabuya Nahanda, radical rebirth. Yes, both of you have died, spiritually, emotionally, and in other relationships. But this is not a trauma bond. This is two people who did the work, died to ego, and rose whole. This love is post-resurrection love. Not lust, not illusion, not filler. Foundation. Majaji is manifestations. You manifest this not through begging, but by becoming. You didn't chase, you aligned. You didn't perform, you embodied. This union is the fruit of integrity and the echoes of your prayers. Smile becomes a covenant confirmation. I'm living my best life. This isn't ego. This is the sound of emotional safety. This is a joy without fear of sabotage. This is peace that doesn't need explaining. You're not afraid to smile because you're no longer pretending. You are seen, held, revered, and matched. You reached a sacred crossroad. Not every soul gets to enter the garden. Not every kiss becomes a prophecy. And not every orgasm echoes in eternity. But this one does. You're not in a relationship. You're in a covenant alignment. You don't just feel good. You feel called. You don't just trust them. You trust yourself around them. And that's the difference. This love does not take me from myself. It returns me to God. My body is consecrated garden, and it opens by invitation, not obligation. What we built together was spoken into existence before we met. This union is a spell of safety, legacy, and evolution. I smile because heaven is watching and says yes. Or you could be choosing path 2, the loop. By night on my bed, I sought him whom my soul loved. I sought him, but I found him not. Song of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 1. That's how it started. You weren't looking for sex, you were looking for a soul-deep peace, for spiritual recognition, for sacred touch. And when you found it, let my beloved come into his garden and eat his pleasant fruits. Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 16. You didn't just have sex, you opened the gates of your energy field. You let someone walk into your temple, not just your bed. You let them touch your prayers, not just your skin. Monogamous sex is not casual. It is a covenant. Even if no one said I do. You shed breath. You imprinted their frequency. You altered your own emotional regulation system. The magician rules today. This means you have the power to either seal the ritual or break the spell. In Song of Solomon, chapter 5, you were tested. I opened to my beloved, but my beloved had withdrawn himself and was gone. My soul fell when he spake. Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 6. You hesitated, they left. Or maybe you stayed too long and they drained you. Either way, the timing broke down. You went from union to absence, from clarity to confusion, from I found him to where the fuck did he go? This is where Venus squares Saturn hits. Love delayed, love tested, love revealed for what it was, a mirror and not medicine. You survived this, now what? The grandchildren card said, I bless the children not yet born through choices I make now. You are the portal between old pains and new futures. What you accept in bed, what you tolerated in love, and what you manifest with your words either heal the lineage or it haunts it. Mabuya Nahanda, Radical Reaper, says you are not broken, you are reborn. You didn't lose love, you lost illusions. Let it die. If you resurrect what tried to bury you, you curse your own wound, whether physical or spiritual. Mojaji, manifestations. Every word you speak today is a seed. Every I'm good is a sword, and every I want more is a contract. And the magical code is the song Smile. I'm living my best life, ain't going back and forth with you. This is not ego. This is your spiritual chant after surviving circles that should have killed your joy. This is what it sounds like when someone sees the loop, feels the soul tie, still chooses peace and smiles anyway. This song is your chord-cutting anthem. May 1st, 2025 equals the day you don't repeat the pattern. The sex was sacred, the loss was brutal. The insight is ironic. The power is back in your hands. The manifestation is real time. The ancestors are watching. The grandchildren are depending on your alignment. The God in you wants more than emotional addiction. Turn away thy eyes from me, for they have overcome me. Song of Solomon 6:5. That's what you are now. Overcoming, no longer overtaken. So smile not to fake it. Smile because the soul tie didn't win. Smile because you've been testing and chose self. Smile because your bloodline just got lighter. Smile because God just said, I saw that choice. Now watch what I do next. So let's seal this, not with fear, not with fantasy, but with clarity. You don't need another sign. You got the scripture, the science, the sky, the song, and the cards. So from this point forward, you don't get to say I didn't know. You only get to say I chose. Two paths, one window, and the rest of your legacy depends on what you do next. Walk accordingly. So, let's put it all together. The fork and the soul, two paths, one window, and a consequence. The cards pulled were the grandchildren, legacy, cosmic destiny, and what you choose now affects 7 generations. Then I pull Membuya Nahanda, and as you died before, will you resurrect an old self or step into who you became? And then there was Majaji. Your thoughts and words are now contracts. You are no longer wishing, you're summoning. Pluto Retrograde in Aquarius is about dismantling of false identities, collective karmic clearing. Venus square Saturn, love and desire are under pressure right now, testing it for authenticity. Mars trines Neptune equals actions guided by spirit or seduced by fancy. Taurus Sun and Virgo Moon, embodiment versus illusion. Stability or scattered energy. This is a day of ironic insight, ruled by the magician. The magician is choice plus consequence. Whatever you affirm today, verbally, physically, sexually, or emotionally, will echo. So you have 2 paths. Path 1, sacred alignment. Let my beloved come into his garden, Song of Solomon 4:16. Smile, I'm living my best life. You choose to anchor in clarity. You honor that monogamous sex is a mirror, not an escape. You elevate the relationship into covenant or release it in truth if it's not evolving. You let the past die completely. You embody the new you. Your smile becomes a declaration of peace, not avoidance. If you do this, you reprogram your lineage. Your manifestations take physical form. You enter the right use of power. Your nervous system heals. Your sacred union, whether solo or partner, becomes a spiritual strategy, not a craving. Or you do path 2, which is a familiar loop. I opened to my beloved, but my beloved had withdrawn. Songs of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 6. You romanticize what is unstable. You confuse longing for love. You stay sexually loyal to a soul tie that triggers the fuck out your nervous system instead of healing it. You manifest from emotion, not in alignment, so everything you create becomes a temporary or self-sabotaging. You just relive trauma in new costumes. Continue that, the outcome is you're gonna reopen old timelines. You rewound your womb, literally and energetically. You lose spiritual protection in that area. Your descendants inherit confusion in place of clarity. You repeat the rebirth cycle instead of completing it. May 1st through May 16, 2025. This is the window of embodiment. Between Pluto Retrograde and Jupiter entering Gemini on May 25th, mental contracts will solidify. Between Venus square Saturn and Venus conjunct Jupiter on May 23rd, what you build in love will either be blessed or exposed. Taurus season will bring this energy. This is when spirit checks. Is it real? Can it root? This is the window of irreversible energy. Your body, your words, your rituals, they're locking in a timeline. So ask yourself, is my pleasure a portal or a pacifier? Is my yes building something or bleeding me? Am I smiling because I'm free or because I'm numb? Is this love leading me to legacy or keeping me in limbo? The magician is not cute. He is accountability. You either command creation or you consent to confusion. There is no middle ground. The bottom line is you stand in front of two altars. An altar of integration where you speak, move, and love with your full self present, or an altar of illusion where you light candles for someone who no longer exists. Both paths lead to fire. One burns what is false, the other burns what could have been. Choose this day whom you will serve. Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15. Not them, you. Choose which self you're ready to serve now. Because after this window closes, you don't get to call it confusion anymore. Only consent. If you made it to the end of this message, it's not by accident, it's by alignment. You were meant to hear this, not to panic, not to predict, but to position yourself. Because now you know you can't unknow what was revealed, and you can't unhear what was exposed. And from this point forward, you don't get to call it confusion anymore. You can only call it a choice. So breathe deep, speak clearly, move like you understand the weight of what you carry. Because your next steps aren't just about you. They're about what gets passed down, what gets broken, and what finally gets built. This was the contract check. This was the crossroads. Now walk accordingly. This window is open, but it ain't gonna be open for long. Take heed to the messages, and I'm telling you.